So today we're going to be looking at a clip from the Netflix series Painkillers. Now, if you haven't seen it, it basically talks about the story of Purdue Pharma and the whole opioid crisis and how they fueled it and a lot of the corruption that happens in the pharmaceutical industry. So the scene we're going to watch right now is going to get into how the pharmaceutical industry began to use sales tactics to really get their message out and convince doctors without really any good data to use these products. Let's take a look.
This is where Uncle Arthur's influence came in. He was a salesman, and he knew that your product is only as good as the message that it comes with.
Now, one of the questions I always get is, do pharma companies hire attractive individuals to go and talk to doctors? And the answer is yes, they definitely do. Let's take a look at this clip here, and you can see in the series, they kind of perpetuate this idea, but it is actually true. It's not a myth. Let's take a look.
Richard knew exactly what that message was, and more importantly, how to send it. He went about putting together a sales force to get the word out about OxyContin. And they recruited good-looking college graduates who could speak a doctor's language, and then they programmed the shit out of them.
Now, what you're about to see in this clip is how the pharmaceutical sales companies train their pharma reps. Is this true? The answer is yes, it is. They bring together the pharmaceutical sales reps and they hire them, and they basically teach them how to speak the doctor's lingo so they sound credible when they're talking to physicians. Let's take a look.
Temperature, heart rate, respiratory rate, and blood pressure. These are known as the vital signs. Do you know what is not a vital sign? Pain.
So you notice here she said pain is not a vital sign. And actually, you may or may not know this, but Purdue Pharma was a major player in getting those charts up. You know, when you go to any hospital room, you see the picture of the smiley faces in terms of being able to rank your pain score and how much pain you feel. I think it's from a score of 1 to 10. Well, Purdue Pharma actually created that asset. Why? Because it helped for patients and for physicians or other healthcare providers to put pain top of mind. And so they wanted people to be treated with pain, and it's chronic pain, and of course using OxyContin to do that. And I think this really speaks to the whole issue of ethics and accountability in the pharmaceutical industry. Has it improved? That's a question I get a lot. And the truth is it has improved. In the last 10 years or so, especially, the pharmaceutical industry has been better at self-regulating itself using something called the Pharma code, which is a code on how they should interact with healthcare providers. But there's still a long way to go. We saw that with Purdue Pharma even up until a few years ago. They were still out there peddling these ideas about OxyContin, a lot of misinformation. And oftentimes pharmaceutical sales reps are trained internally at the company to basically peddle the company's message. This is why I'm a big believer of having independent certification for pharmaceutical sales representatives, and why at my company that I run, the Accreditation Council for Medical Affairs, or the ACMA, we actually developed the first ever accreditation for pharmaceutical sales reps, so that this way they can be held at a higher level of accountability. And we work with different cities in the country, like the city of Chicago, to actually certify those pharmaceutical sales reps. I think that's a really important thing to do, because it means that they have to be at a certain standard of knowledge and level of competency when it comes to their technical skills, their clinical skills, but even things around regulatory and compliance elements as well. Because right now, when you get trained within the company, they just train you on the message they want you to go out there and talk to when it comes to physicians. Now, don't get me wrong. Most pharmaceutical companies want to do the right thing. Most people are trying to do the compliant thing. But having an independent third body to kind of audit that process, I think is really, really important. The last thing I'll say is, for pharmaceutical sales representatives, is it really that glamour type of job that you hear about and you see? Well, I'm going to make a video about that next time, so make sure that you follow me, subscribe, comment below on other topics that you want to see in the pharmaceutical industry, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, guys.